Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Sox on Tap.
Tony, my first reaction is just fuck yes, let's go.
Sox versus the Twins. That's where it all starts. Because it all starts taking care of business in-house in the Central Division.
That's right, I'm a meatball.
You got to bring that top button swag, baby.
It is always great to beat the Cubs.
And I'm a homer, so I always say they're gonna.
Dallas Keuchel Lamson got some beards that you should be afraid of.
What everybody said when he gets out there, it's me versus the other guy, and I'm going to beat him. So I just love that mentality. It's cool and fucking tough.
Steve, would you say that Tony is mad online?
I would definitely say that.
The White Sox winner.
Happy Sunday Funday, White Sox fans. Jonnie, Nani here alongside Tony Marchese, bringing you Sunday Funday with Sox on Tap. Tony, how you doing, my friend? We'll get to discuss here.
Yes, we got a victory to discuss. I am going to crack them. Cheers to you. I don't know if you're enjoying a beverage tonight, but I certainly am. Another victory for the White Sox. It's good to be back on the mic with you. I hope everybody got to tune in to Sean Roberts and myself break down a loss yesterday. It was cool to have a guest on, but it's always good to be back with you, Jonnie. Yeah,
for sure. Thanks to Sean for filling in while the rest of the clan was out at the ballpark yesterday. Good times despite the loss at the park yesterday. But hey, we take the series today. Tony, I will take that. 3 out of 4 from the Tigers. Obviously, ideally, you want to win every game. You want to sweep everything. But that's baseball. You're going to lose sometimes. You play 162 games, you're going to lose sometimes. Lose Saturday. Take this. 3 out of 4 from the Tigers. That's why I call this Sunday Funday a successful weekend.
Yeah, I think it was a successful weekend as well. Jonnie, before we break into it, though, you were there with most of the members of the On Tap crew who cover the White Sox for this website. So should just, run down the ballpark experience. You guys got to see the White Sox unveil the new City Connect jerseys. Looked pretty cool on TV. Were they as sweet in person?
Yeah, they look really sharp on the field. It kind of gives me like Vanderbilt vibes, and maybe I'm not as big of a fan of those ones, but man, with the font and the script across the front, matching with the hats, looked really cool. And I was pretty close. I was 4th row down the third base line, so that was cool to see up close and personal. Obviously, we did our best. We drank a lot of rally beers, trying to get them back into it. And Ray Clam, helped us out a little bit, but they couldn't get over the hump, and ultimately, wind kind of blowing around. Had the long balls flying, but overall, day was great. We got out to Cork and Carry before, cracking them early and often, and then everyone went to the game. So met up with Duke inside the stadium. He made the little rounds, talked to Buzz, and sat with everybody that was there for at least a little bit. And then afterwards, we went and drank some misery beers at Cork after. So it was good times.
Sounds like it, Jonnie. I wish I was able to join you guys, but I'll be back at the ballpark this week. The season ticket plan kicks in. Well, we missed the first game, but Jake Trojan and I will be back out Tuesday and Thursday. At least that's the plan so far. Weather looks a little hairy for Tuesday, but we'll get into that a bit later, Jonnie. Let's break down today's winner.
Yeah. Before we do, Tony, I need to remind the listeners to visit ontapsportsnet.com for all your Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. Follow us on social media at ontapsportsnet and at Sox on Tap. And if you're looking for White Sox merchandise like those nifty Southside City Connect jerseys we were just talking about, make sure you are hitting up Grandstand. They sell it there, located right by the ballpark, and you can shop online at grandstandsox.com. Follow them on social media at Grandstand Sox. All right, that's out of the way. Tony, let's talk about a winner. 3-0. White Sox, shut out the Tigers today. Love to see it. Detroit sucks. Dylan Cease was fantastic. I think we should start there because the pitches were moving really well, and it just shows how good he can be when he's on and when the command's there and when the breaking stuff is sharp.
Yes, absolutely, Jonnie, and that's exactly where I wanted to start with this one was Dylan Cease, because this was, an adversity game for him, coming off what was his, I guess we could say, worst performance of the season thus far in his last start. Sean and I talked a little bit about it last night in today's preview, but it was his stuff just came back today and looked absolutely crisp. The curveball might have been as nasty as I've seen it all year. Just able to put hitters away with command. That's something that Dylan Cease has in his arsenal, and when it's working like it was today, you're going to see those high strikeout totals from him. It was quick work for Dylan Cease, man. It looked nasty.
Yeah, it was. And, you talked about the curveball. I'm a huge fan of that. I love a good 12-6 curveball, and Dylan Cease has that. That's why Sox on Tap rule number 84 is drop the hammer. He dropped multiple of them today. And more impressive, too, because we know about the curveball, Tony. We know it, and we know when it's on. It can be very deceptive. But the slider, it was clicking a lot better than I think it has in the past, because that's a different type of break to it. But you see how effective it can be for a guy like Carlos Rodon. And obviously, he's lefty, turned around, but still, just the slider as a pitch in general, more widely used, I would say, than curveballs are. But, Dylan Cease, when you get both of those working along with fastball command, good luck. And he went 7 strong today. Would he end up striking out here? 10 on the day into double digits. Love to see that. Over strikeout bettors, I'm sure. He had a fun time with that one. Allowed 5 hits, and also got a little help from his defense, which we'll talk about as we get into some of these innings here. But Tony, only scoring in this game was in the bottom of the second. White Sox getting it done early, and the pitching just leading the way the rest of it. In the bottom of the second, Eaton hits a 1-out triple. Vaughn, our pick to click, Tony. Love to see it coming through. RBI spot there. That gets the Sox on the board. After Engel popped out, Nick Madrigal doubles, and Tim Anderson brings in 2 more RBI single of his own. So scoring, not too much, not in great quantities here, but enough to get the job done.
Yeah, and you know what? The Eaton play, I want to go back to that one just a little bit. And, as Eddie Olczyk would say on a Hawks broadcast, all you young hockey players, all you young baseball players out there, if Eaton's hustling around the bags, Johnny, you think he scores on that? That was brought up on the broadcast. It looked like Eaton was not running full speed until he rounded second base, heading for third there. Thoughts on the play from you?
So that's a good thing that you brought it up and you were able to see it because I did not see it. I was listening. I was out on the disc golf course for the early innings, so I was listening. So Len Casper didn't really touch too much on it, so I don't know if he saw it or not either, but I would not know. But I do know for a fact that Adam Eaton is constantly banged up and bruised and whatever the hell it is. Even when he's healthy, when he's not on the IL, there's probably something that he's dealing with that could put another player on the IL. Let's just say that.
Yeah, it's just something that I picked up there. Regardless, Johnny, triple's cool and tough. I think we both know that. And he gets himself in scoring position there. And obviously, Vaughn was able to get the job done there to bring him in. Johnny, the White Sox offense on a day like today, you talk about only getting 3 runs across the plate. I expected a little bit more. I did. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I did too. But, wind was swirling a little bit. So I do think that plays a factor, especially at guaranteed rate field. You can see like a ball in the early innings that gets over Adam Eaton's head, just kind of like picks up a jet stream when it's in a certain spot. But then you're hitting things out to left field and they're getting knocked down or even out to center. They're getting pushed a little bit around there. So wind factor probably plays a little bit there. But yeah, you would have liked to see Sox score more runs. I think, just dominating a team, blowing them out is awesome. I always love that. You just feel more confident about it. But that's, types of games that we're going to be winning without Eloy Jimenez and Luis Robert in the lineup, Tony. So I've honestly become a little more accustomed to it.
Yeah, I have as well. But, I wanted to blow them out. Detroit sucks. I wanted it to be just a little bit more of a high-scoring affair. You talk about the Dylan Cease overs. Probably not getting any overs on the run total today. Low-scoring ball game, but Dylan Cease, probably was part of that.
Yeah, it works well when the pitching is perfect. I mean, not perfect to a T, but then you give 5 hits. But still, it's exactly another one of my kind of like thoughts, general from this game, Tony, is the succession of Cease going 7 innings and then you're going exactly how you plan it. If you write it out every time and you want a script and follow it, it was done like a movie today because you get 7 out of your starter. You go right to Bummer. He doesn't have any issues. You go to Hendricks. He locks it down. No problem. That I love seeing that, and I love when a plan comes together.
Yes, and these are the types of games, Johnny, and I know that the Detroit Tigers are not a playoff caliber team by any means, but that's the kind of script that you want to see throughout the season and even carry on into the playoffs, Johnny, where you got your relievers working clean ends of the ball game, and that starts with the starter going 7 strong, like you saw from Dylan Cease today. And the White Sox have plenty of guys in this rotation who can do that. We haven't seen a lot of, perfect script games, I think, so far. This game could have been 1-0, and the Sox would have gotten the job done today. That's important. You've got the defense, you've got the bullpen working the way that we thought it would. in the beginning of this year. If you talked to us in spring training, I thought we would have seen this exact script play out, I think, many, many more times than what we've seen so far. So good to get one of these as well.
Yeah, like I said, you just like to see it, and it's like I like the predictability of that because I'm very type A. I like my things regimented and
Yes.
organized, sought out. So that was very organized from the White Sox pitching staff today. I would agree that you would have probably thought that you'd see this more, but guess what? Guys struggle. It's baseball. It's a long season. Even Aaron Bummer, some of the nasty sinkers and cutters that he throws. Sometimes the command's just not there. We've seen him go out in games and walk two. You give up a single. He gets one of those pitches that leaves the yard every once in a while. And Liam Hendricks dealt with his share of home run issues early on in the season, but getting the guys back on track with performances like today, I think that adds some confidence for both of them.
Absolutely, Johnny. All right, what else we got in this ball game, man? I'm excited to hear.
We got the return of Adam Engel,
Yes.
and it was highlighted in a big way. In the first inning, he does make a nice, running in, and then going back later in the fifth inning, his Tigers could have started to crawl back into this one here, and it was a fly ball out to center field. That wind that I was talking about, blowing it around. Adam Engel turns back to his left, opens his hips to his left, has to readjust, come back right, ends up reaching over his right shoulder and taking away a home run to start this inning and keeping scoreless, the Tigers scoreless. I love to see it. It was great. And I never thought, if you asked me in 2017, 2018, I was so excited to see Adam Engel finally back today. I thought I'd never say that, but here I am. And I love it when a guy can prove me wrong like that.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, Johnny. If you go back to those exact years you're talking about, up through 18, and even past that a little bit, Adam Engel was not one of the guys that I would have written into the 2021, 22, 23 roster, and he's made himself into one of those guys. And a large portion of that, and the reason why he stuck around so long, was because of his defense, his defensive ability to do exactly what you saw today. I think he's a very valuable player to a ball club as a defensive replacement, and I still stand by that. But he's also a good enough ball player now at this point in his career where he can start some ball games. And the White Sox have actually really been blessed this year, now that I think about it, with the play they've gotten out of Billy Hamilton. And I know this is a very, very the smallest sample size you can get Adam Engel, but just having him on the roster and knowing that you're at some point probably going to see Luis Robert back in this lineup, Johnny. That's a lot of center field depth that I think that the White Sox, just going into the year, you didn't really think about it. You didn't know you had it. And it's been a pleasant surprise if you're a White Sox fan. Even Billy Hamilton goes down and you got Adam Engel next man up. Just the ability for the White Sox, and they've caught some breaks with that. Billy Hamilton filled in well for Luis Robert. As soon as he goes on the IL, you've got Adam Engel right back up there for you. And that was a topic of conversation amongst us and amongst White Sox fans. Like, what are you going to do when Adam Engel comes back? Not to say that the Billy Hamilton injury was a good thing, but kind of a silver lining here is that Adam Engel is ready to come back as Billy Hamilton hits the IL. Unfortunate for Billy, fortunate for White Sox fans, though, that they have a player of the caliber that can step in and continue doing exactly what you saw today out of Adam Engel. It's storybook stuff.
Yeah, you talk about having that depth there, and I agree that it's a blessing that the White Sox are able to have this here, this kind of situation with guys coming in to fill in. But I'd be remiss if I didn't say that these guys have propelled themselves up to be those quality depth pieces. Yes. Because if Billy Hamilton doesn't go on tears and go all out and make spectacular defensive plays, if he looks like he's starting to slow up, at this point in his career, then we're like, oh shit, Adam Engel couldn't come soon enough. And if Adam Engel didn't increase how he, his consistency of hitting at the plate, didn't, modify his approach back in kind of second half of 2019, when he finally came back up from Charlotte, is really when it started to finally turn the corner for him. So if they didn't make those improvements, we'd be talking about this as crap depth. So I think it's just a testament to the work that both of those guys have put in.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that one, Johnny. And we didn't know what we were going to get out of Billy Hamilton. I think a lot of people were surprised he even cracked the roster. So, I mean, a lot of that has to go, like you said, a lot of that credit is due to those guys stepping up and, finding themselves again. If you're talking about Hamilton, Adam Engel working through some injuries and putting up an impressive shortened season in 2020. And just being able to hang around long enough to make that impact. But it's good to see. And like you said, man, like if you told me like Billy Hamilton was going to go down in center field and Adam Engel was coming back and White Sox fans were rejoicing about it, I would tell you we'd be having some major problems on this team right now. I mean, that's almost some laughable stuff. If you're looking at it from a 2018, 2019 perspective, I'd say we're in a whole fuck ton of trouble. Just getting that today, not that that home run saving catch from Adam Engel was the end all be all of this ball game, but you don't know what happens if the score breaks loose there for Detroit and they get themselves on the board. You don't know how Dylan Cease is going to respond to that. It could have been a whole different ball game. I truly believe in the butterfly effect.
Yeah.
So you don't know where that's going to go if that ball gets over the fence or, if somebody else is in center field today, what ends up happening there. So man, I go back to the storybook all the time. It's really great that he was ready to come back today of all days.
Yeah, sometimes those things have a way of working themselves out, and that's just how the universe works sometimes. So that's obviously what happened here. So, you never like to see anyone go down, but the timing of it did end up working out to get Adam Engel back in here and let Billy Hamilton recover from what's ailing him. So, it's funny how your perception changes too. You're just talking about I would be in the same exact boat as you. 2018, 2019, you told me that scenario that you laid out, I would be like, oh my God, like, what are we in last place? Like, seriously, that's what I would think.
Yeah, I'd be thinking we'd be drinking a lot more misery beers than victory beers at that point in time in the season. Especially if you told me it was, a couple or a week into June, and we're dealing with this, that just doesn't look good on paper. But it's worked out very well thus far. And Johnny, before we get any farther into this, like That's So White Sox has started to change just a little bit. And I wanted to bring that one up with you. It's Sunday Funday. We can break into a few different topics. That's So White Sox of that era of baseball has somewhat started to change. Do you feel that as well?
I 100% do. And I've pointed out at various times here throughout, the course of the season, this early season here, and talked about areas that maybe it's just habits that the White Sox have now that are now good habits, whereas in the past they might have had some bad habits and, not taking walks, allowing too many of them for the pitchers and, just unforced errors, mental errors, that kind of stuff. But now, we can start to identify some trends. Liam Hendricks coming in, shutting the door. Now that's so White Sox. It's, he's our guy. You got scheduled Yasmani Grandal walk. Shout out to Yasmani Grandal on Twitter. A great account there. That's become a thing that now that's so White Sox.
Isn't that Yasmani Grand I with a capital I?
Yeah,
it's something.
GD.
Yeah, it is a good account to follow. I like that. I like that Twitter account. But Nicky Two Strikes, that's so White Sox thing.
Yeah, dude, and it's so nice to be able to point those out. And I think Nicky Two Strikes is a great example of that there. Overall, I think we'll get to it at some point here when all these guys, kind of really figure it out. But the bullpen just being locked down will be another That's a White Sox thing because we know how good they can be on paper. So I think that's another one you could add in there as soon as the results start coming in a little more consistently.
Yeah, and I would just love, the opponents and the fans of those teams, when Nick Madrigal hits that 2-out, 2-strike single to drive a run in, be like, that's so fucking White Sox, like that. You know what I'm saying? Like
yes.
the way that we would be like, fuck, Kansas City special. I want him to say, fuck, that's so White Sox. And I think that it would have that tone, and we can change this into a more positive thing than it's been in the past. And I'm right there for that ride, Johnny. I can't wait for it to become just a little bit more That's So White Sox in a good way than, the ways that we've had to deal with it in the past.
Yeah, exactly. Because obviously it was a coping mechanism to start, Tony. That's really what it was. And it was just, how do you explain some of the crap that's going on in 2018, 2019 when we're shooting ourselves in our own foot? It would just be, how else do I explain it except that's the White Sox? Situations that come about and they're, whatever, off-season drama with the whole Tony La Russa shit. That was an example of still in the bad. That's the White Sox. You know what I'm saying? So I will just say it's very nice to see the tides changing.
It is, and you're beating divisional opponents. I know we had a rough trip up to New York. That's probably the low point of the season thus far. But other than that, man, like I've been watching the games a little bit differently this year. A little less panic, a little more confidence going in. When we win ball games, I feel more or less like we should have won them.
Mm-hmm.
When we lose, I feel like we should have won, but you can't win every ball game. I feel like there's just this aura of less pressure around this team so far this year. Speaking in again the first week of June here, just the display that they've put on so far, Jonnie, has been somewhat confidence inspiring in me, at least as a White Sox fan, where I don't have that feeling going into every game where it's like, this is do or die. We need to rattle off this win or it's going to be bad. And maybe that's just complacency a little bit with being in first for the period of time that we have. But, I've came into this season thinking that they had the talent to win the division. And so far, over every single stretch of injuries, of down performances, they've come back resilient and able to answer the bell. And until they don't, it's been, I think, healthy for my heart, probably healthy for just me in general, that it's not that stressful so far this year.
I love that you said they are confidence inspiring, and that is huge for me. I feel very much more confident in the White Sox this year than I have in a long, long time. And I'll circle this back to a specific instance and kind of building on a point that we were talking about earlier with depth guys like Hamilton, like Engel now in the mix. Jake Lamb, you've gotten production out of, other guys like this. Doesn't really matter for me now who's up. Like even if we're down or something, we go in that game against Detroit on Friday night. We end up, a bad inning. We have a bad inning of our own. And we end up going down by one run. I was very confident that we would be able to at least come back and tie that thing. And as soon as we tied it, I was very confident that we'd be able to come back and win. You get that kind of vibe too. And for me, it doesn't matter who's up in that spot. And like, sure, there's some that you'd prefer to have a guy that,
right,
you'd probably prefer, Jose Abreu in like the clutch spot or whatever it may be, but you still have confidence. Like, it's like, oh, it's not like, oh shit, this guy's up. Like, when Billy Hamilton comes up, it's not, at the beginning of the year, it might've been before he started hitting. It was like, oh shit, like this isn't going to get done. But now he's shown that he can do it too. And obviously Jake Lamb hitting some timely home runs. It's feels like there's very few, if any, weak links, and they have a resiliency to them. And that was something that we talked about on Friday night. And, it's the Ricky's boys don't quit bullshit that we were, kind of joking, making a little bit of a mockery of. But at the same time, they really don't quit, and they have the talent to do it. And I think they just have the mindset, the approach that, yes, we're going to come back and win because we're better than you.
Well, and the other thing too, Jonnie, is when you're watching the ball game, right? Like last year, even Nomar Mazara comes right to mind. Every year's had that player, Yonder Alonso. Like there is one guy that everybody is always constantly all over. And so far this year, I think the guy that everybody's been all over has been Yasmani Grandal. Like, let's think about that for 2 seconds. The guy that everybody's been all over is Yasmani Grandal, who was the premier free agent signing for this team outside of your, Lance Lynn trade acquisition or Dallas Keuchel. Like the guy in the lineup who is the guy that was brought in here to make this team win is the guy that everybody's all over because he's walking too much. Like that's how far we've come, is to the point where we're talking about one of the better bats in this lineup who's still getting on base and still driving production. That's what we're unhappy with. Versus every single time this guy comes up, it's an automatic out. So like the things that we have to complain about have shifted into like pure ridiculousness almost, at least for me.
Yeah.
And that's why I've been kind of just on the way that I've watched this year. And I think if you follow my Twitter, you can kind of pick up what I'm putting down here.
Yeah.
Like enjoy this. And I know you can echo this statement as a Blackhawks fan. Like, I wish I enjoyed 2010 a lot more than I did, because I was on the edge of my seat, not believing what was happening in front of my eyes. I'm trying to enjoy this one and just not get so bent out of shape, I guess, so to speak.
There's a way to still be humble about it, because let's be honest, we haven't won. We haven't won shit yet. That's, talk to me after the
Correct.
parade, the whole Rick Hahn line. There's a way to be humble about it, but still have a confidence to you. And I think we need to find that median and stop nitpicking. I think that's the biggest thing, because yes, I've been in moods like that where you're just like, you're negative, or you're, frustrated or antsy or whatever it is, and you just try and find something that's wrong or whatever, a trend you don't like, and you got to go. It's like, let's take a step back, take a deep breath, and appreciate the bigger picture of what it is. Go and look at the standings right now. There's the first one, and I think you'll like what you see.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm all about right now, Jonnie, is because it's been so long and we've been promised this. And while it looks good, I'm going to enjoy every little bit of it. That's what I'm, every victory beer tastes better and better with each day that goes on with a White Sox winner. Each and every victory has felt earned. Everything so far this year has felt earned. Despite the injuries that have happened to this team, and this is probably the 15th time I've said it tonight, despite the injuries, you're still winning ball games. That doesn't happen very often. So enjoy it while it's special, and maybe just, it's like stop and smell the roses for like 2 seconds on this journey, because we could get to October and get bounced real quick. If this is the high point this year, enjoy it for a little while instead of complaining that Yasmani Grandal took a walk instead of hitting a single.
Yeah, winning baseball is still winning baseball, and obviously there's more on the line when it comes to October. There's higher stakes there, no doubt. But winning baseball is fun, and we're playing a lot of winning baseball right now. So I think that's my bottom line. I really like your line to kind of sum all that up. Stop and smell the roses.
You have to at some point in life, Jonnie. Otherwise, you're going to get so stressed out. These teams are, just they're supposed to be there for your enjoyment. But I know myself, I know you, we've watched plenty of games together. Every single time our team loses, just a little part of you dies. So, yeah. Enjoy the wins.
Yeah, you can run hot too after something like that happens with the loss. So I would definitely say that you should take time to enjoy those wins to the fullest. So that's what our goal here at Sox on Tap is to do. Hence victory beers. So obviously the 3 occasions of it this weekend, Tony, like I mentioned earlier, taking 3 of 4 from the Tigers. That's a successful weekend. Let's get into what we're going to be dealing with next year, and that is the Toronto Blue Jays coming to town. Day off on Monday. So Monday, June 7th, no game. This will be Tuesday, June 8th, 7:10 p.m. Central Time start at home. Blue Jays are coming in, lost 2 of 3 to the Houston Astros over the weekend. Most recently with the loss, they will be off Monday as well, coming into Chicago. It'll be Robbie Ray for the Jays and Carlos Rodon for the White Sox. I think Los can get a little bounce back performance here. Last time he threw was Cleveland, and gave him a chance, but it was not his cleanest outing for sure.
Let's go to the tweet that Andrew Kinsler had just for a minute here, Jonnie, about there was some rotation shuffling around this weekend, and the Zach Collins factor that plays into this, Jonnie. I can't find the actual tweet. I've been trying to search for it, but I'm pretty sure it had to do with Yasmani Grandal riding the bench because Lucas Giolito can't throw to Yasmani Grandal, so it's going to be Zach Collins for Rodon and Giolito, and that's why you saw Cease today. I'm looking at what we can expect from the lineup. One thing I want to go back to is the fact that Tony La Russa used Yasmani Grandal in the DH spot for the first time when Giolito was on the mound. Was that Saturday?
Yep.
So are you going to see that again on Tuesday is the question.
I hope so. I mean, there's a chance that it could be Yerman in there, but this is all assuming too.
This is all assuming.
This is all assuming Zach Collins is the catcher.
This is all. Yeah, this is all assuming Zach Collins is the catcher.
I would say, I would prefer it to be Yaz because got hot, started getting hot a little bit this weekend. I want that to continue. And I think that's more important. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to. I just talked about stopping and smelling the roses, so I'm gonna sound like a hypocrite here. But I am not fully in on Yerman, to be honest with you. And that takes away nothing from his torrid start. I'm not trying to, and I would love for him to be a guy that proves me wrong, but there's just not a track record there to go off of. Whereas Yasmani Grandal, we've seen stretches over the course of his big league career that are like, okay, this guy can really go on a tear. Think about 2019 with the Brewers. I mean, reason why he earned the contract that he did here. So I would like to see Grandal, but I wouldn't be shocked to see Yerman in the spot either, because that's just something that they do. And you could also be trying to stack days off for Yasmani Grandal. You know how they're doing that now with Abreu. They sat him today, so you get the 2 days off. Well, Grandal played today, so if you go, you obviously got a regular off day tomorrow, and then if you're trying to stack another one, I think you know what, I'm going to make a prediction. I predict it will be Yerman, but I hope it's Grandal. That's just me though.
So I'm wondering if I can try and enter the mind of Tony La Russa for just a second. I'm wondering if that's the new Zach Collins' catching lineup with the way that Yerman has been, because outside of Friday nights, single from Yerman Mercedes where he drives in the winning run, which I still believe should be able to get him off the schneid a little bit. He's got the new haircut. He's got Yerminator etched into his head. That might give him some confidence too. But, the lineup is so much better with Yasmani Grandal in it than Yerman Mercedes.
If you have to choose between the two.
Yes, if I have to choose between the two. And I know why it's been the way it's been so far is because you want to have that backup catcher on the bench. You're less confident in Yerman Mercedes to step in late inning roles, but you did see him this weekend do that. So I'm wondering.
I was shocked, by the way, at that. I thought he would never see an inning behind the plate for the White Sox.
So that's what I'm wondering is because, and this is all tinfoil hat time, Sunday Funday, tinfoil hat time. The reason you saw the way that game worked was Tony La Russa wanted to test out what it would be like if he had to use Yerman Mercedes in a defensive replacement situation, given his bat's gone cold. He wants to try this strategy where you can replace Yerman Mercedes at DH and get those extra at-bats for Grandal because he's starting to feel better, or during the early parts of the year. Maybe that nagging injury that you, Andrew Kinsler, and I were talking about has started to go away. Yasmani Grandal's feeling a little bit better right now, and the bat deserves to be in the lineup. Maybe this has all just been something that's been kept quite hush so far this year, and now we're going to start to turn that corner. Because, we've talked about it. We do have guys that are going to be coming back. Is Yerman Mercedes going to be sticking around? How's this thing going to look? If you look back at last year, Rick Renteria was not shy about getting two catchers in the lineup every day. It's something that La Russa is going to have to feel out and figure out quite quickly. So that's my tinfoil hat time here, is that might be the go forward move, is that Yerman's the third catcher, so to speak, and rides the bench in favor of Grandal's bat, just depending on matchup.
I think there's a lot of strong points in your tinfoil hat time there. So I think it's very evidence-based in that, especially with seeing that. But obviously that was the first time that it happened. So we do have to see if it repeats, and that we're just trying to predict that here, though. So I like that, trying to get into the mind of TLR on the decision-making front there. So I could see it, especially, I think there is a little bit, another shred of evidence I'll throw in there to kind of back up the point that you had said about Yasmani Grandal, because it never resulted here, at least during the regular season, in an IL stint. We know that he's been around all year, and obviously there's been days where he's sitting out for multiple days in a row, and we're like, what the hell's going on? And people start to speculate. On Thursday night's game, it was Friday night's game. Steve Stone, before Yasmani Grandal hit his first home run in that game, he was saying that they were talking about the home run from Thursday night. And Steve Stone said, as Yasmani Grandal came up to the plate, and they're showing the stats graphic at the bottom, he had said that Yaz is finally starting to have his legs feel better underneath him, and that weight shift is huge for him as a hitter.
Mm-hmm.
And there was never any never any reports, never any. Remember, there's no updates from James Fegan about it. There's no,
Right.
It was just, he just had this little thing at the beginning of spring training, and that was about it as far as Yasmani Grandal injury news goes. So, like you'd said about things being a little hush, maybe under the table, just nagging, but not enough to put him on the IL. I think it's a very real possibility that's what was going on with him. So I just wanted to throw that in there to just further back up your point, because if that's the route that they're going, I like it.
Yeah, and Jonnie, it's just, I think we need to get a graphic for this segment here, because I think we broke into something that we do quite often, but this really felt like an episode of Sox on Tap Investigates right here, where we go down and talk about maybe not a tinfoil hat theory, but Sox on Tap Investigates, kind of like.
We're turning over all the clues here, Tony.
Yes, we're turning over the clues. We're on an episode of Blue's Clues right now. You get Buzz to dance around with a cartoon dog, and we can have that play across as we do this segment. Buzz Clues as we go down here. You can be. Yeah, I don't even know where I'm going with it, but it just sounds funny.
Yeah, that's what we're doing here, because we're not in the locker room. I don't know,
no, but it was weird though to hear Steve Stone say that, and the whole weight transfer thing. Was it a hip? What was going on? Because he was resting enough to question: is he fully there, or are we just this committed to Zach Collins so far this year?
So this is a little not tinfoil that time, but no real basis. But I'm going to go with calf because, one, that nags you when you are catching and you're squatting and you're doing that constantly. And that's a very common ailment for a catcher to be able to deal with. And second of all, if I remember correctly, I could be wrong on this, but if I remember correctly, that is what the update was at the very beginning of spring training. I'm talking like day 5 there.
Yeah, dude, you could put money down on everything, but we're never going to know the answer to that unless it's in an untold story somewhere down the line in a 2021 World Series DVD. But that would be cool. I don't know, man. We can go in here and we can uncover as much as we want to just from things that we've seen, things that are on Twitter, observations from watching the game. But we're not going to know, and that's why this is Tinfoil Hat Time, or Sox on Tap Investigates.
Yeah, since we're on Sunday Funday, fun stuff time. Obviously we're running through these like these segments that we're building up here. Another one I'm gonna throw into the mix here, Tony. Kind of new, but just cool shit I've seen in White Sox land. Cool shit we've seen in White Sox land. First of all, Busch Lights in the stadium, tall boys, beautiful, love it. Must have had some leftover, or they're finally filtering those in. But our guy Duke Coughlin brought me down one when he came to sit by me on Saturday afternoon, so that was cool. And then second of all, Tony La Russa doing the cocked hat with the South Side jerseys was hilarious. So that's cool shit I've seen in White Sox land. How about you?
I would have went right to the Tony La Russa thing, because I was going to bring this up with you. There's a lot going on there, man. There's so much, and I've done Sox on Tap Investigates, whether or not, the whole Tony La Russa locker room thing. But, just if we're going to go more tinfoil off of that and cool shit, I think Tony La Russa has been trolling everybody and laughing about it with Yohan Moncada at the nightclub every single goddamn night. Because, the cocked hat thing, the way they're all hugging him as they come off the field today. Oh, and congratulations to Tony La Russa on becoming the second all-time winningest manager in baseball history. That's pretty fucking cool and tough, in my opinion, Jonnie, if we want to speak in Sox on Tap terms. But, you look at just Chicago coaches who have been around the game, who come around, young, talented organizations and, make winners out of them, and are also in the history books as all-time winningest coaches in their sport. That puts Tony La Russa right there with Coach Q.
Yeah,
so I just wanted to draw that comparison. Really,
yeah, no,
let's talk about that.
I like that. They're both legendary coaches. You could take Tony La Russa didn't even come back. He's still a legendary coach for what he did with the Cardinals and his longevity of his career. Obviously, run for a while with the A's, and obviously got to start with the White Sox. So it was already an accomplished career before that. But now you're just adding spoils to the resume. It's awesome. I loved seeing that, and it was cool. Like you'd said, I really think that was cool. The kind of congratulatory line line after. You could tell the guys. I think I saw on the post game show they said Adam Engel retrieved his jersey from the laundry to get it so Tony La Russa could sign it for him. To remember that as being part of that game. So I just stuff like that.
So cool.
It warms my heart. It's cool.
Yeah, it's so cool, and I think that one thing that if we're going to go into something that I don't want to shame people for, get upset about, but I think one thing, Jonnie, that really I guess grinds my gears just a little bit. Maybe we can get our graphics guy to do a little like what grinds Tony's gears, graphic for these segments going forward too. Schwartzy's going to get a long to-do list after this episode, but. I really feel like if Tony La Russa was more well received by White Sox fandom in general, this would have been a bigger to-do. It kind of pisses me off just a little bit that the witnessing of a historic event in baseball kind of falls by the wayside just by the public perception, so to speak, that Tony La Russa gets, because this was a historic game. Like if we're really talking about it, I think right on the broadcast, Stone had said, and I'm sure this was something that Chris Kampka had found out, like this is like the first time that there's been a move in like the top 4 or 5 of the leaderboard since like 1920. That's 100 years ago. Like these are historic moments that are happening here with Tony La Russa on the south side. And, regardless of whether or not you like them, don't like them, whatever, we witness history today. And that happened in a White Sox uniform. That's going to go down in the history books. I know you make a joke about it. He's a Hall of Fame baseball person, but he is. And this is something that, there's nobody close to fucking catching him.
Yeah.
So, White Sox is going to be there in the history books forever. And a lot of people just want to like breeze past that and go after him for, bunting once or twice over the course of the season. And yeah, that could put him in a worse position to win a ball game at some point in time. It's his job to make that call. We can roast him about it. We will. But at the same point in time, like that's not a reason to hate the man. If you hate the off the field stuff, we can get all into that. But today was historic, and I feel like a lot of people aren't celebrating as much as if it was somebody else.
You're not allowing yourself to fully enjoy the whole scope of it, because guess what? The manager's part of the team too. I know it's obviously the guys on the field that do it. They have to go out there and perform, so they get the lion's share of the credit, as they should, in a win or a loss, in my opinion. Because sometimes you just don't perform and you lose, but sometimes you do really cool shit, like Adam Engel robbing a home run, and you should be lauded for that. But guess what? Manager's part of the team too, so someone's got to bring them all together. Coaches are part of teams. Why do you love or hate Matt Nagy for the Bears? They loved him the first year, they hate him the second years, but that's it's stuff like that. And
it's a rough position, man. It's a rough position, especially in Chicago.
It always is, and it's always harsh criticism from any of the major markets. You go New York, you go Chicago, LA, obviously up in Canada, especially. We know with hockey, Toronto, they're going to catch more hell this year for losing again in the first round. So I get that, and that's all part of the thing. But guess what? The manager's part of the team, and if you're just because you don't like him, let's be honest, that's what it is. That's where most of this ire comes from. They just don't like him, and that's fine. If you have your reasons, you're entitled to your opinion, but you're letting that ruin your experience a little bit. And if you're not being able to enjoy something like this, or at least appreciate that it was a historical moment and something he's probably not going to be caught for number 2, I would guess.
Yeah, no, I don't think he will be. If he is, congratulations to whoever that is. But there is nobody alive right now. And I'm not saying that Tony La Russa is going to do this, but there is nobody alive right now, in my opinion, who really has a chance to go catch number 1 in the next 50 years. So, be that as it may, I was starting to do some quick math on it. Like he'd have to stick around and coach for like maybe 6, 7, 8, 9 years before that would even be a possibility to get to the number 1 spot. We don't even know if Tony La Russa is going to be around in that many years, but nobody else has the chance to do that, even like on this planet right now, who's actively coaching in baseball. So you got to stop and look at that and say, that's pretty cool and tough.
I'd agree, man. And so I was able to enjoy it. So that's up to you. If you don't want to talk about it, whatever, go ahead, you do you. But we're going to sit here and enjoy it on Sox on Tap because we're covering all aspects of the team. So.
Yeah, no, that's just something that I wanted to get into. And I hope, if I'm going to segue this, I hope that doesn't, preclude anybody from not enjoying, a playoff run or, any other milestones along the way.
You gonna boom at the championship parade?
I would get like
I would imagine there will be people that do.
I would imagine there would be. And, what's really funny too is like, I look at this, and maybe I'm drawing a lot of Hawks similarities to this team because I think that, this team has a lot of similarities to that young Hawks team. They've got an exciting core. They've got some leaders who are there. They've got a fucking manager, coach who's been there, done that, knows how to get the job done, is a very serious individual. There's so much excitement around the team. The stadium's alive. There's just a lot of similarities, new cool slogans and things that are cool shit that's going on around the ballpark. Like that's the same thing as, when the Hawks started introducing like the Chelsea dagger, and there's new things that are coming in. Yeah. One goal, like the whole entire marketing campaigns and slogans and things that were going on. Change the game. There's so many similarities, and the White Sox are displaying a lot of things that organizations do when they have set themselves up for a significantly long period of success at the top of their sport. And, I just wonder what it would be like if people would be rallying around Tony La Russa a little bit differently, if he just maybe was the preferred hire, or, the off the field stuff that happened were a little bit different, because I think that there's definitely a narrative there that like Rick didn't get his guy and like all these other things. And they may be true. And if they are, like, it's just a totally different vibe around it, because you look at Joe Quenneville and he's a hero here. He'll never pay for another drink or meal in his life in the city of Chicago. It feels like everybody loves him. I mean, there's people who are still following him down in Florida as he's leading the Panthers. Like there's so much that goes on with him as a hero here. I wonder, Johnny, and I'll ask you this question. If Tony La Russa wins 2 World Series or even 1 World Series with the White Sox, will he be celebrated, or will he still be booed when we talk about this team 10, 15 years down the road?
Unfortunately, can't answer that because we'd have to see the reaction to that. But as of right now, it feels that way. It feels that way because there's just so much, like I said, ire that's drawn around him. And there's some that people have, reasoning behind it. And I totally understand it. But at the same time, it's, when we're talking about winning baseball games here, first of all, the White Sox have done a lot of it so far this year, and they're set up to do it the rest of the season. Hopefully in October. Obviously, we'll have to cross that bridge when we get there, and then see how long what happens. Is he around next year? Is he around? How long is this thing going to go? And how long are the White Sox going to compete? Because we're obviously expecting it to be a multi-year contention window. Talking 4, 5, 6, whatever it may be here. So I'd have to see during that, Tony. But as of right now, I know it feels like people still won't be bought in on him.
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
It's where I am too. It's just an interesting question, just something that I'm pondering as this season progresses. Is what's the legacy going to look like? Because as of today, we still have articles coming out like just over the last week. Like WGN goes after the DUI arrest video. Southside Sox releases a quite slanderous piece about his animal foundation that he runs. There's just a lot of things that have been coming out, and it still feels like it feels like the news. Everybody wants to be the one that takes Tony La Russa down. Finally, like I feel like that's like a thing for almost every news organization outside of On Tap Sportsnet, because that's not going to happen here. We're not trying to take Tony La Russa down at all. We'll cover the team, like you said, from all aspects, Johnny. But I just feel like there's like a bounty on Tony La Russa's head, and somebody wants to be the one that uncovers, the kill shot that takes him down.
They want to put the last nail in the coffin.
Yes. Yes. That's just what it feels like.
That is seriously what it feels like. And I saw all of that shit too. And shit, it was. So that's just where I stand on that. It's like, dude,
And that's why it feels like this should have been something that's more celebrated. I mean, the dude should have a statue at this point in time somewhere. just in the baseball realm of things, that he is the second all-time winningest manager in this game. Like, that's something that's incredible. Like, you could say that about any other human, apparently, in relation to the baseball things that they've done. And it wouldn't, it would be something that everybody be rushing to do. Like, if this was AJ Hinch and we hired him and he won this game and he was an old guy or whatever, it would have been fine, even though he cheated. But if it's Tony La Russa, so it just feels bad. It just feels wrong to me.
Yeah, no, I agree that you should be. I think it goes back to what we talked about earlier here. Can you stop and smell the roses? And that's all aspects of this thing, because there are some incredible feats that, like we just saw today, and it should be celebrated for the players, the team, the cool shit they do. Enjoying times at the ballpark. All aspects of it. You should be able to, rally around a good social media post that the team makes, and not just have Tony old drunk stupid comments like in the replies. Whatever, you're free to do that if you want. I get it, but it's like, if you're really fully, thoroughly enjoying this thing, let's do all aspects of it.
Yeah, let's look at it and just enjoy it for what it is right now, and that's a first place baseball team in the first week of June. And I think that's
second best record in the American League right now.
Well, and there's looking at this coming in, Johnny, looking at it coming in. Did you expect them to be in first place right now, or maybe battling it out with Minnesota? Because that's what I thought was going to happen.
I think I would have been. I had them, pegged for being right there, neck and neck with the Minnesota Twins, and I think that we will have our stretches of probably battling the Cleveland Indians for spots, because there's times where they're starting pitching probably just carry them, and there'll be that kind of pain, the thorn in the side. But so different team there. But I thought we'd be battling a little bit more. But now it's like you look in there and see it's like, okay, there's a little cushion. We're 4 games up now on Cleveland in the AL Central, and then going by the league here in the AL, only 1 game back of the best record in the AL. That's from the Tampa Bay Rays. So we'll have some head-to-head meetings to be able to try and take that spot over in the next week and a half or so.
That's going to be a fun series. That's going to be a very fun series of baseball to watch. I know the AL East has been somewhat of an issue for the White Sox. I hope they can put at least good 2 ball games together against Tampa, like 2 really solid good ball games.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'll say this: I respect the Rays. I understand they have a process and they hammer it out and they get results on the field. So I respect them. That in mind, I fucking hate them. I fucking hate the Tampa Bay Rays. You know me. I can't stand them. They'll trade away a good, decent piece they have the minute shingles loose at Tropicana Field. Like, it's ridiculous.
There's a team out there that everybody could probably love. It's like Tampa Bay or like Miami, because they're in Florida. Everybody loves Florida. You vacation there. You can go. You could watch a ball game while you're on vacation. I don't even want to do that, because I hate both of those franchises. And if you go back, the specific reason you hate the Tampa Bay Rays is exactly what you said. Like, this team over the course of my lifetime has traded away more talent than anything that I've ever seen in my life. Like, you can't even start naming names here, because these could have been all-star teams at points in time, Johnny, and they get rid of everybody, but yet they're still successful in like a naggy way.
Yeah,
it's unreal.
And I respect their success, because they found a way to do it on a budget. They're balling on a budget, essentially. That's what it boils down to. So props to them. Props to the front office people. Props to their scouting, especially them, because they always get a prospect that comes and lights the world on fire. Randy Rosarina.
We know you love prospects that light the world on fire, Johnny. I don't know if there's anything that makes you like more amplified mad.
Immediate gratification.
Yes. Yeah, and that's why I thought you'd be like the biggest Yerman guy. But there's just things that I know that you hit on, and your one thing is like prospects that just come up and rake. That's a hot button for you.
For a while, it had just been we couldn't have anything. It was like, we can't have nice things, but the rest of the league gets them. And all you're hearing is Vladdy Jr. All you were hearing was Rafael Devers. You remember?
We're still
the
hearing
name.
Both of those names.
Jordan Alvarez. Remember him?
Yeah, but you just hit on 2. Vlad Jr. and Rafael Devers. Like, there's people right now who are surprised that Yohan Moncada is not leading the vote for the All-Star vote, and that like a lot of analysts are picking Devers to be the starter, Johnny. Like, there's people who are surprised by that. Are you? Are you one bit surprised?
I mean, the way that national media attention
Correct.
shifts. First of all, they're an East Coast team, so they're going to get more coverage. So I'm not surprised in that regard. But I'd have to go and look at it too, because I'm a White Sox fan. I'm not digging in every day. I'm not looking at Rafael Devers' increase or decrease in OPS from day to day. I'm not doing that shit. So I'd have to go back and look and make an informed decision. But
that's another good one.
Mangata.
Is OPS the end all be all for All Stars? That's another question.
No, I mean, I'm just saying stuff like that, though. I don't know how many. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head how many home runs Rafael Devers has.
Just from the media attention standpoint, though, Johnny. Like, those are the guys who are going to get it. It's Vlad Jr., it's Rafael Devers. It's not going to be Yohan Moncada. It's not. Until the team proves otherwise, and that's by winning a championship or continuing to stay in the news cycle by any means possible. Tony La Russa incidents and stuff like that can probably help it a little bit, but like, you're not going to get that coverage. So the White Sox have been in the national spotlight a bit more than you would expect this year. So I think that could be coming for Yohan Moncada, but if I'm gonna ask for a call to action, like, can we as White Sox fans do everything in our power, which is vote, vote for Yohan Moncada to be the All-Star. So let's send a message. Let's do it.
I want if you're a Sox on Tap listener and you're just a White Sox fan, just do it. Go on. It takes, maybe about 2 minutes every day to do it. And you can vote up to 5 times a day. And after you make all your selections, you can just click the, submit again, up to 5 times. Go vote for every single White Sox, like Buzz's Homer tweet. I love that. Go vote for every single White Sox player at every position. I don't care how they're performing. Fuck all the other teams. Let's get our name represented, because we're having a damn good season and people should know about it. So I won't feel one bit bad if Yasmani Grandal slips in to the catcher spot in the AL with a fucking sub 200 average. I won't feel one bit bad.
And White Sox Twitter is the perfect place to do this. But if you're listening to this from Facebook, all these places, go vote and tag us in your all White Sox votes. We want to see that, Johnny. We want to see that type of stuff. Maybe we can run a little promotion. Maybe we can get something together with Grandstand, our sponsor. Maybe we can do something about this and do some sort of giveaway, even if it's just on tap merchandise or something. We could put something together. Tag us in these things. What do you think?
Yeah, I love it. I was just going to do that. I love that you have a call to action there, because I was just thinking of that as we were talking about all-star voting and recognition from the media and all of that kind of stuff. Well, guess what? Fans have a vote. You can do it. Make your voice heard. Do that. And block the Cubs out on the National League side. Vote for their top competitors over there, because that's really nice to see. I want the White Sox to have more all-stars than the Cubs this year.
This is a rivalry. This is a rivalry.
I voted for mine was all White Sox in the AL. All Cardinals in the NL.
No better way.
Because I'm that petty.
No better way to use your All-Star vote, Johnny, in my opinion.
Sometimes I'll sprinkle in Brandon Crawford in there, because I don't want to see Tatis or Javier Baez anywhere near that. They will get in. Fernando Tatis will make it, no question. I know that. But if I can do any little thing like that, I'll be petty.
I'm the same way. If the MLB gives you the opportunity to decide who the All-Stars are, you damn well know that, like, unless there's somebody who I'm infatuated with and maybe they're a good standout fantasy player for my team, and you're not a fantasy guy. But if you are, maybe it's your guy, you want to see him in the All-Star game, or maybe you don't, so you don't want to vote for him, whatever. But I always vote all White Sox. Like, that's just my thing, because I want to give these guys as many votes. And I think it's cool and tough when you see your guys represented on the national stage, even if you don't watch the All-Star game. I want to see my guys there. Maybe I'd actually tune in if my guys were on the team.
How awesome was it when we had 3 in 2019? It was fun when you had Jose Abreu, when you had James McCann, when you had Lucas Giolito out there. It was awesome. I want to see that again. Let's get more of that. And on the NL side, like I said, if you have a chance to do it, undermine the Cubs. Do it. Go ahead, do it.
Get your guys out there, because that's why you want to watch.
Yeah,
the only reason that you want to tune into this game is to see those guys there. And I'm more of a fan, Johnny. It's Sunday Funday. I'm more of a fan of the home run derby anyway. I want to see one of our guys in the home run derby this year. I'm absolutely pissed off, not only because Eloy Jimenez is out for the White Sox so far this year, but I want to see him in a home run derby. I know that the jinxes and the other shit that's there, but I just think that Eloy Jimenez in a home run derby would be so beneficial for White Sox fans, just in general, to see him win one of them damn things.
Yeah, I mean, it would just be fun to see how many he can friggin' hit, because I would imagine he could be close to setting some records.
And he would have fun with it.
Yeah,
he would have fun with it. He would turn into a national sensation just with the camera spotlight on. Yeah, hi, Mom, and the whole entire time. Just the crazy shit that Eloy Jimenez would say during the interviews that go on during the home run derby. He was built to win a home run derby. So I want to see that happen at some point in time. Eloy Jimenez home run derby. Like, I don't know how we can figure out a way to get him there. It's not going to be this year, but next year, Eloy Jimenez has to be in the home run derby for me.
Yeah, we definitely need him, and I'd like to see him in multiple ones. And if we get anyone else in there too, I doubt White Sox will have a representative this year because they've not been doing it by way of the long ball.
They have
not as heavily as they did obviously last year. They had a lot of home runs last year, but they were also having two guys that hit a lot of those home runs healthy. And obviously Jose Abreu had an MVP season, so. Unfortunately for them, no All-Star game during that COVID year. So, I agree with you. I'd love to see Eloy in one of those for sure. So,
I'd also like to see, Johnny, and one last Sunday Funday topic for me is a White Sox home run derby. Just pack the seats at the rate. Line up Jose Abreu, Eloy Jimenez, Luis Robert, Yohan Moncada, even get Yerman in there. Bring up
Grandal,
the guys, Grandal. Sell beers and just hit home runs the whole time and light off fireworks the whole night.
Yes.
Fucking fantastic. It would be the greatest night. No pressure. Nobody's winning anything. Get a betting sponsor in there. FanDuel, PointsBet, whoever it is. Bet Rivers, have them come in there, put some odds on it, let people win some money, let people gamble about it. Like just to have a night, DJ the whole entire night, giant party in Lot B beforehand. Everybody heads to Chinook's or Turtles or Cork afterward. It would be a great way for the White Sox to just promote their own guys.
Yeah, and celebrate the fun that they can have there.
Yes, celebrate the fun. And you know what? Tim Anderson's probably going to win the damn thing because he will because he's a competitor. But Johnny,
there's so many.
That's my pick. I need to know who you would take in a White Sox home run derby.
See, that's a good question. I'm gonna go with Yohan Moncada though. The Yohan Moncada, that sweet swing. It's very repeatable. He's very consistent, and you just get him mashing balls from the left side. Now, guess what? If he gets tired there, pull arm, flip him over to the right side. No problem.
Now,
who you got?
I've got the rules on this thing are interesting, right? Like, can they bring back former players, or is it just current players?
Current,
because you can get really crazy.
Let's keep it current.
If we're keeping it current, Tim Anderson might be my guy if we're flying under the radar. But just if I'm going off of like who I actually think would win, I mean, Luis Roberts hit some moonshots before, and I mean, if there's somebody
series last year, that was in a real game too.
Yes, and that's in a real game, and that exact home run is probably why I'm putting my money on Luis Robert. Eloy Jimenez can probably get a little bit more launch angle just with the swing, but I would venture to say that if Luis Robert was just in I'm just trying to hit home run mode instead of trying to drive gaps and get on base and use the speed, he might be able to have the physical stamina to get through the whole entire damn thing. So that's why I would probably go with Luis Robert.
I got a funny one. Even he's my guy, but I can make a joke about it. Yasmani Grandal would probably hit a bunch of them in that thing, but he might hit the most. He would have issues though, Tony, because he dropped the bat every time, and then he'd have to go and pick it up, and that would throw him off, and he'd have to dig back in, and it would throw off his rhythm.
Moncada might be there too with you.
Yeah.
So that's why I think back to some of the home runs. I think Jose Abreu would definitely be there in the finals. Probably has to be just the most polished hitter. And I think he puts enough out of the ballpark when he's not even trying to. But I would also be interested in like some of the early round performances, because I think that, even to my point about Eloy Jimenez in a home run derby, like he might try and like put on a show early and then fall out at the end, because those things are marathons, man. They're not sprints. We've seen,
That's why I like Moncada, man.
Yeah.
He's in the best shape in my opinion.
Yeah.
Actually, Luis Robert, I'll concede that, but
so I do want to bring it back. If we can bring some former players in here,
Frank.
Frank, Daniel Palka, I think would be a fan favorite in this thing.
Dude,
like I'm trying to sell tickets.
I know there's some ire about his time here, but Adam Dunn, dude, in his prime, I'm talking Cincinnati Reds prime, he can fucking hit some bombs too.
Does Jim Tomei get in on this?
I think he would.
Can you invite Manny Ramirez out for a night?
Get Manny there, yeah. I think NWI
Jose Canseco, he'd do anything for $1.
Yeah,
we can get Jose Canseco in this guy.
Yeah, and NWI Steve would very much oppose the Jim Tomei one, but I think he would be in there because he's a good graces with the White Sox. They like him, so
yeah, they do. Can we fly Dion Viciedo back?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's still crushing out in Japan, right?
Yeah, he is. He's absolutely crushing. I still get the Chunichi Dragons box score on my phone every morning. Those 4 a.m. games. I still put some money down every now and then on the Chunichi Dragons, just because Dion Viciedo's an absolute tank.
Tank? He was a tank, yeah.
Yeah. Hawk Harrelson needs to come back in the booth to call the thing too.
Yeah.
That's my final ask.
There would be so many put on the board. I would love it.
Just put it on the board. Yes. Just that might be Hawk's final call.
That's another thing. We were talking about this, and yeah, sure, it's exciting, and that's what the main event is, all the players in the field. But I think you could make, just like you said, have like a DJ like going on. You get like, so I think you could divide up like the announcing for it too, because you need Gene Honda for a lot of it. But you could get Benetti in there. You could have Hawk just giving some commentary.
So wait a second.
Get Len Casper, get the ultimate panel there.
Yes. If we're doing this, you started out in the afternoon with the Legends Home Run Derby, and we invite all these other guys, these former White Sox who were out there, and you have Hawk Harrelson call it, just live PAing through the whole stadium. And then in between at bats and stuff, you got DJs. Maybe you can bring some bands in. And then at night, you bring out the current players, and you do the whole same thing, and you let Benetti go at it and call that whole thing. I think this would be an excellent White Sox fan event. There'd be beers flowing from 2 o'clock in the afternoon till 10:30. And you cap it off with a headliner band or a DJ set, Johnny, and it would be a party on the South Side.
Oh man, I would love something like that. I love that we're just thinking hypotheticals here. I hope something like that becomes a reality. I understand injury concerns are first and foremost with that. You don't want guys swinging out of their shoes, pulling a oblique. You saw Franmil Reyes with just a normal swing, pull a friggin'.
I'm just dreaming here.
I know, and I get that, but I do hope at some point the White Sox do that, because I think that would be a great way for. We talk about appreciating this whole thing, Tony, all aspects of it. That would be the total consummation of Southside culture there, of the fans, rowdiness of it. You get, like you'd said, the past, you get the present, and you just get all the excitement. So I think that would be a perfect
Can we book AC/DC for this event?
Yes, we need it. Thunderstruck.
Yes. It would be awesome, man. It would be awesome. AC/DC and Journey, I think, would be who I would book as the entertainment for this event. We're creating events here. This is fantastic. I love it. Sunday Funday.
Yeah, no, and no more fitting artists, obviously, with the connections to the songs there too. So I would love it.
Real. We're getting Chance the Rapper.
Most likely, but that will. That'd be a big get, though. It would be a big get there. So, yeah, I mean, you could do all, like I said, you're moving through time with this thing. Go former, go current. You go old school to modern.
Fall Out Boy. Fall Out Boy. They're probably coming along, too.
Yeah, I'll just use that fucking song at the end. Yeah. Yeah. So, Tony, one thing that before we went off on all of this, and I love the discussion that we've had, but it is almost time to wrap it up. We were talking a little bit about Blue Jays here. So, obviously, we're hoping first game on that Tuesday, it's Carlos Rodon, Robbie Ray. Hopefully, White Sox can get to a lefty once again, and hopefully Carlos Rodon has a little bit of a bounce back after what went down in Cleveland. Obviously, still gave him a shot. So, we need some more runs from the offense, but we need to know who's going to get those done. Pick to click. Ours work today. Andrew Vaughn, who you got for Tuesday?
Man, Tuesday's going to be interesting. I'm hard-pressed not to pick Adam Engel. And I don't know why. but I just feel like he comes back today. He makes those defensive plays. He had a solid ball game. He's started to just get back into the swing of things. Have not yet picked Adam Engel, so I'm trying to be fresh here, and I'll go Adam Engel. I think he'll get the job done offensively.
I love it. I really did miss Adam Engel. I think I speak for all White Sox fans there. I missed Adam Engel early on this year, so it's great to have him back. I love that you're going right there, picking him right off the bat. I'm gonna go to the top though, Mr. Tim Anderson. Oh yes, day off in between here. He was hot. Had a couple hits today, and I like this too. Playing is a little bit more long-winded with this, but. Of the guys that have multi-hits today, Madrigal in the 9 spot, Timmy in the 1 spot. I love when a plan comes together like that because no better way to turn over the lineup with Madrigal. So I like picking him pretty frequently, but I'm going to go Timmy at the top. And, when there's a lefty on the mound, I feel like Tim Anderson is just licking his chops and he's just waiting and he's thinking about it all day. And he does his homework. He knows. He knows what these guys are going to do. He's going to go and look at Robbie Ray film. He's going to go and look at Robbie Ray trends. He's going to talk with Frank Menachino. And you're probably going to see it in the form of a home run at some point on Tuesday night. Fireworks.
I would love it, Johnny. I've got tickets for Tuesday. Going to try and be there. I know the weather is going to be interesting on Tuesday. I've already been looking at that just a little bit. There are some storms in the forecast in the area throughout the day. Hoping that they subside, and I haven't looked in 3 or 4 hours. Probably going to check it at least 2 more times before I go to bed tonight and all day tomorrow. But yeah, dude, I would love some fireworks via anybody. And if it's Tim Anderson that provides those, so be it. Doesn't matter. He's going to celebrate in the same.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's a big thing too. Good that we were able to get by and shows that we can win those games, but let's get back to some offensive explosion because getting up there close to double digits been a little bit since I think they obviously they won 9-8 in that walk off on Friday night, but still I'm talking about like really crushing a team and putting them down bad, and that would be great. I know the Toronto Blue Jays, and you're probably going to need to do it against them too, Tony. I think that's a big key because talked a lot about the White Sox, and obviously that's what we're here for. But Toronto Blue Jays, they're a team that I think you guys meaning you, Buzz, and Steve, all kind of downplayed them. And I had said a series that I was looking forward to on our season preview show. And this is one of them. And you're seeing why with Vladdy Jr. You got Bo Bichette. You've got Biggio. They got George Springer. It's a team that, they're probably pitching staff is I will give Steve that. It's a little downtrodden. It's not as elite as the White Sox is. But when those bats are going, they can score a lot of runs.
They sure can. And I always go back to the fact that, and I don't even know if we were playing the Blue Jays at that point in time. I'm assuming we were. But one of the Sox on Tap tailgates that we had, I watched Austin, conduct the Canadian national anthem. Yep. Over in section 109, I believe it was.
They did, yeah.
They've always just been a joke to me since that. So I hope he's in the ballpark, conducting some anthems this week. And that, the White Sox continue to win. Because if I remember correctly, when we were there, the White Sox won that game.
They did. Yeah, they won that game. It was a good time.
So let's keep doing that.
Yeah,
that's all we need. That's key to success.
Yeah, it's funny how those that was like something that was there, at the ballpark, but you just connect it to that team.
Yes,
I think it's hilarious. I love that.
It's weird. Superstition.
Yeah.
I'm not superstitious.
Yeah,
I'm just a little superstitious.
Oh, I love it, Tony. So this is a good Sunday fun day. Good to be back on one of these, air out some of these. I love the kind of planning that we did for that event. Obviously, we got to talk about White Sox winner 3-0 today to close out the series. Take 3 of 4 from the Detroit Tigers here on Sunday, June 6th. But that's about it for us. We've blown a lot of hot air tonight, so we need to get on other things, and we'll be back hopefully after Tuesday talking about a game, if not whenever that first game of the Blue Jays series is, if weather affects it. So once again, this is Sox on Tap. Make sure you're visiting ontapsportsnet.com for all your Chicago sports literature and podcasting needs. Follow us on social media at OnTapSportsNet and at Sox on Tap. We need White Sox merchandise. That's sick, sweet Southside City Connect jerseys. Go find it at Grandstand right near the ballpark. Visit them online, grandstandsox.com, and on social media at Grandstand Sox. I've said my piece, Tony. White Sox forever.
White Sox forever, Johnny.